Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name's William. This is a Set Corsa Competition, and today we are going to be driving the Bentley Continental GT3 around the Nurburgring. This is my favorite car. It, I don't think anything's ever going to replace it, in all honesty. I think sometimes some cars do, and then I start driving this car again, and I remember why it is my favorite. It's gorgeous. It sounds great. It's kind of funny, and it's also pretty stinking fast. So I'll have the hot lap for you guys, and as always, the setup with some tweaks and adjustments you can make to maybe make it a little bit more suitable to your driving style if you don't like it exactly the way I had it set up. So if you guys do give this a try, uh, let me know how you get on with it. And if you like this video or want to see more setup videos, more Bentley videos, give this video a like. It helps me out a ton. And yeah, anyways, I'll go ahead and shut up. We'll get on into the hot lap, and then I will be back with you guys for the setup. Enjoy. Okay, everyone, that was a hot lap around the Nurburgring in the Bentley Continental GT3. Managed a 154.150, so freaking close to that 53, but nevertheless, a 154.15. I'm sure I could get a 53 if I sat here and drove it a bunch more, and that'd look cooler and everything, but I'll go ahead and share the setup with you guys because it feels pretty miraculous, and I've been enjoying driving this car for a little bit, and just decided to come back on and finish it off and get it ready for you guys. So take a look here. It is a beast through the first sector. It is really good through the first sector, and it feels very good through the first sector. Very respectable in the second sector as well, and then the third sector is about on par with basically everything. I think this third sector I think is more down to driver than it is the car. I mean, it is kind of how you have the car set up to go through that last chicane, but it's also kind of the cojones you have going through that sector. So I think I'm limited by myself through there. But anyways, we can go ahead and look at the setup. Started with the aggressive preset as always, and this is what I wound up with. Only thing really to note on this page here is the lower cambers all the way around. Um, I prefer this car running a slightly lower camber just from driving it more and more. It seems like the aggressive preset always has a lot of camber, and it can kind of trick you into thinking that that's what the car wants, but lower camber, better braking performance. I feel like you're going to take care of your tires better over the long run, and it's a little bit more predictable and consistent in the way it responds, in my opinion, anyways. With the higher camber, the car sometimes grips up, sometimes doesn't. It's probably something, if you really practiced with it, you could dial it in and take advantage of the extra mid corner grip that it might give you. But this lower camber does get you through the middle of the corner very well, in my opinion, and then it brakes better, and the lower camber on the rear really helps on the drive out of the corner as well. So really the only thing to note there, on the electronics page, I ran the TC on 2 and the ABS on 2. Really not much to talk about there, as you can adjust this. It's the driver aid, really. It's whatever makes you feel better in the car, and whatever works best for the track conditions you are running in. The brake pad compound for the front and the rear was 2. On the suspension side of things, the aggressive preset was actually very good whenever it came to that, in my opinion. So the anti-roll bars, I didn't feel like I needed to change those. I did soften the wheel rates, which I've done on basically every car I've driven around this track. And I took some of the preload out of the differential, but overall the balance was pretty darn spot on with the aggressive preset. The one thing is this brake bias. I've noticed this on basically every car, every track, and it is almost always the first thing I change whenever I get into a car. This brake bias is super far forward whenever you start on the aggressive preset. And if you try this setup out, just go try the aggressive preset with that brake bias, and then try this one and see if it stops better. Like, you don't have to put on the rest of the the rest of the setup or anything. Just literally adjust the aggressive presets bias down to 61.8 and see how much better it stops. At least in my opinion, it is night and day, and it makes so much time whenever you can actually attack the braking zones and brake later and get the car stopped for the apex, instead of having to brake like 20 meters earlier just to do the same thing. You're just giving away lap time. So um, really, I can't emphasize that enough. The brake bias on the aggressive presets is just, it's always pretty whack, and that seems to really limit the speed in the car on that preset anyways. But like I said, we softened the wheel rates. Enough ranting about the brake bias. So we softened the wheel rates. On the rear specifically, it's just a traction, really kind of trying to get this car to launch out of the corners. This is quite fast, and you need to kind of be able to put the power down and hook it up to really kind of take advantage of the straight line speed that this car can have. So kept the front a little bit softer as well, just to try to get a little bit more braking performance, a little more mid-corner mechanical grip out of the car, and then softening, taking some preload out of the diff as well to free the car up in the middle of the corner and on turn-in, and then also kind of tame it on exit is really exactly what I was looking for in that adjustment. So let's see, nothing else really to talk about on that page. Onto the dampers. I really didn't have to do much with the dampers on this car. Like I said, the aggressive preset was pretty good as far as the balance was concerned. Just a couple things really holding it back. So I increased the bump on the front and the rear, basically just trying to match the rebound values on the rear especially, but on the front not quite. It helped quite a bit in the predictability of the weight shift on the car, and getting it to kind of slow its weight transfer down a little bit. And then the fast bump and fast rebound on the rear softened this, and definitely softened the rebound as well, just to really help the curb strikes, especially in the first sector. Wanted to take advantage of the fact that the car felt super strong through that sector, and be able to hop those curbs and still have the car stay underneath you after you do it, and not get skittish after hopping one of those curbs. Just kind of plant right back into the track and kind of roll over it like a Rolls Royce instead of like a proper race car. So that's what I was going for there. On the aero side of things, I did not touch any of this. The aero balance of the car was very much so to my liking. So if you want to tweak this, if it's not quite to your liking, if you want to add a little bit more oversteer into the car, you can just raise the rear ride height by a click or two. That will definitely do it. Alternatively, if you want a little understeer on this car, I would go with a click of wing. If you are just wanting to run more downforce on it, the Bentley is really just about like 2 clicks of wing or so to keep the balance about the same whenever you do add some wing to it, maybe 2, 3, somewhere around there. It's never a ton. You don't want to get too carried away with it, but anyways, guys, that's the setup. A little bit shorter, a little bit easier car to set up. Still incredibly fun to drive. I absolutely love driving this car. Every single time I drive it, I remember why I like it. So if you haven't tried the Bentley, give it a go around here. It is a lot of fun to drive. I feel like it's actually very rewarding to drive, but it's kind of easy to be completely honest. So it's not like it's fighting you the entire time, in my opinion, anyways. So it could just be because I've got more time in it. But um, if you give it a go, let me know how you get on with it in the comments below. Any feedback or suggestions, comments, whatever, also put it in the comments section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It does help me out a ton, and I really do appreciate it. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe as well. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye bye.